can you hear me? We always have mask issues. Is it okay? Okay. All right, this must be the first time ever a woman wearing a gorilla mask has given a commencement address. And because of that, it should make it into Ripley's Believe It or Not, and I think the Art Institute should get some kind of plaque for taking the leap and being the first one. You know, it's so delicious to me that an anonymous, masked artist is speaking to you today, when the art world still clings to that outmoded idea that art has to be about the individual, one great genius after another, creating entirely original work, passing the mantle on to the next genius, forming a master narrative that tells the story of our culture. And okay, these geniuses are mostly pale and mostly male. So what are the rest of us, including the 67% of Art Institute students who happen to be female, to do? In 1985, a few of us got the idea to put up 2 posters on the streets of New York about the state of women artists in the New York art world. As you know, it wasn't a pretty picture. But we had a philosophy about how to construct political art, to twist an issue around and present it in a way that hadn't been seen before. We invited some friends to join us, and the Guerrilla girls were born. Who knew that our work would cause all hell to break loose? Who knew it would cause a major crisis of conscience about diversity in the art world, a subject that museums, collectors, and critics had ignored and denied for a long, long time. Now it's a no-brainer. You cannot tell the story of the culture without all the voices of that culture. Who knew these 2 posters would lead to hundreds of others, plus actions, billboards, stickers, and books, not just about art, but about women and people of color in the worlds of film, politics, and pop culture? Who knew that 25 years later, we, the agitating outsiders, would wind up inside the institutions we criticize, like the Art Institute, the Museum of Modern Art in New York, the Pompidou in Paris, and of course be speaking to all of you graduates, families, and friends today. The Guerrilla Girls have been so lucky to be able to do this work, and we're so eternally grateful that thousands of people all over the world, aged 8 to 80, write us every year telling us that we inspired them to become activists too. But basically, we were just a bunch of girls who couldn't put up and shut up. We saw something that had to be done, and we figured out a way to do it. We had no plan. We still don't really have plans, but we have plenty of attitude and strategy. And each of you in the class of 2010 want to do great creative work, and you have strategies and attitude too. And we know that you want to be the very best you can in your field, the best artists, designers, writers, educators, administrators, architects, etc. But we also know that you all want to do some good in the world at the same time. That's something we all have to do. We can't not. So today, as you go out to transform the worlds of art, design, fashion, art history, writing, critical theory, etc., plus fields that haven't even been invented yet, I want to share a bunch of things that the Guerrilla Girls learned along the way. So I present the Guerrilla Girls Guide to Behaving Badly, which you have to do most of the time in the world as we know it. All right, first, be a loser. The world of art and design doesn't have to be an Olympics where a few win and everyone else is forgotten. Even though the art market and celebrity culture is set up to support the idea of hyper-competition and to make everyone but the stars feel like failures, as I'm sure you've learned in your school experience, there's also a world out there of artistic cooperation and collaboration that's not just about raging egos. That's the world we joined, and one you can join too. Get beyond the outdated assumption that only a handful of you will make it. Don't all waste your time running after the same few carrots. Be impatient. Don't wait for the stamp of approval from the system. Don't wait around to be asked to dance. Claim your place, put on your own shows, create your own companies, develop your own projects. To steal a phrase from the Dalai Lama, be the change you want to see in the world. In other words, be the art world you want to take part in. And of course, be crazy. Political art that just points to something and says, this is bad, is like preaching to the choir. Try to change people's minds about issues. Do it in an outrageous, unforgettable way. You know, a lot of people in the art world, in the film world, didn't believe that things were as bad as we said they were. And we brought them around with a little facts, some humor, and some fake fur. And one trick that we learned is, if you can get someone who disagrees with you to laugh at an issue, you have a hook into their brain. Once inside, you have a much better chance of changing their minds. Be anonymous. You'd be surprised what comes out of your mouth wearing a gorilla mask. We invite you all to try it. We started wearing them really, it was self-serving. We were doing it to protect our careers. But we soon realized it was one of the secrets of our success. And you know, anonymous free speech is protected by the First Amendment. So you can join that long line of masked avengers, some of whom Mark mentioned a few minutes ago. Be an outsider. Maybe having a secret identity isn't for you. But even if you end up working inside the system, you can act like an outsider. Look for the backstory. Look for the hidden meanings. Examine the system. Then expose it. We've empowered lots of people inside museums, universities, film studios, etc., to jam their culture and diss their own institutions. Lead a double life. Be a split personality. Be 2, 3, 4, 5 artists in one body. That's like me. I'm an artist, activist, writer, graphic designer, a few other things. Be a hybrid. In